Hello there gorgeous gamers, and in this one we're getting down and dirty with PowerWash Simulator VR. So scrub up and settle in while I wax on, wax off about why PowerWash Simulator VR is the best way to play. Let's get on with it. I played PowerWash Simulator last year on the Xbox and I wasn't impressed, at least not at first, but over the course of a few summer weeks it became my go-to game for when I just wanted to slouch on the couch, prop my phone up next to me and combine doom scrolling through TikTok with the therapeutic qualities of PowerWash Simulator. It hooked me in and didn't let me go until I'd finished my last cleaning job. But now here we are in the throes of winter and PowerWash Simulator is in VR. A little different then, and with a headset strapped to my face, I can't get my fix of stupid videos while I clean. That's my first complaint, I suppose, because PowerWash Simulator VR doesn't really have much going on in the background. There's an in-game radio station that you can fiddle with, but it's not really my kind of music, so instead of the dull hum of water blasting dirt, I made do by shooting my music to the TV and having that on in the background. Not ideal, but better than nothing, and it certainly helped in my pursuit of cleanliness. Much like the original game, you'll be going through a career mode that sends you from job to job, where you're tasked with blasting away every little bit of muck and grime. Some of these places, honestly, you'd call social services on these people before you called a cleaner. The playground especially must be a health hazard with dirt caked on every surface that little Timmy and his friends play on. Why has the council let it get that bad? More Tory tax cuts, I suppose. My social commentary aside, it's the same game through and through, with the added benefit that you get to play it in VR. Now it might not sound like much, but being able to freely move your pressure hose without the constraints of the two-stick setup of a regular controller really is transformative. That little area that was a pain in the arse to reach on Xbox? No worries, let me just jump up onto my couch and reach up with my blaster. A few wiggles later and the dirt is gone. It's having that fine control over where you're sending your stream, something us men are intimately familiar with, that makes the world of difference here. I often found the traditional controls on the Xbox to be just a bit too slow, forcing me to mix up my movements with a combination of strafing and moving the blaster up and down to get any decent coverage over a given area. Now I just wave my hands wherever I want. It means the tediousness is somewhat lessened, as I'm very sure I got through a few of the missions in half the time I did originally on Xbox. I suppose it also helps that I'm now intimately familiar with each of the game's maps, so that helps too, but it can't be denied that this is a clear example of VR controls trumping what the flat players get. And speaking of, the controls are decent enough, though a little fiddly. You're free to move around your play space if you've got the room, otherwise you're using the sticks. And you can also bend down, crouch, lean, everything. You do it in your play space, it happens in your game. Personally, I did not feel like actually exerting physical effort into my digital cleaning, especially when it takes me 3 days just to get a load of washing done. Yeah, I'm one of those that forgets it, then washes it several times over several days. I'm an idiot. So I played on my couch, with the occasional stretch here and there. It's perfectly doable, but if you want that super VR immersion and to really simulate the back-breaking work of cleaning somebody else's mess, go for it. This extends to the finer details too, such as changing which nozzle you want to use, which cleaning product you want to equip, and so on. It can, for the most part, all be done physically. You have your utility belt that you can spin around to get at whatever you need, and while this is pretty cool and a neat way of keeping you out of boring menus, it wasn't ideal for me as I was playing slumped on my sofa. But there are also fairly easy, non-physical radial menus, similar to what's in the original game, and they work really well, so I think we've all been catered for quite nicely on this front. Now, one of my few actual complaints has got to be the visuals. I was running the game on a Quest 2 headset, which is a capable device given what's inside it, so I can't say that the graphics were especially bad, but I also can't sit here and call them great. The game is full of quite ugly textures, and that's before you've blasted the dirt away. There's a lot of aliasing too, which means objects have rough, undefined edges that wouldn't look out of place on a Nintendo Wii. The resolution is also on the lower side of comfortable, meaning things just look a little rough in general, and nowhere is that more apparent than in the game's menus, which I genuinely struggled to read with the small text being fuzzy and unclear. For the most part though, the graphics are good enough, but there were definitely times when I was taken away from the experience by these distractions. If you've played PowerWash Simulator before and think that a VR rendition of the same song can't possibly be worth your time, then you would be wrong. It's a genuinely cool little game that has done much better than anybody expected. It's not a thriller minute and it's about as repetitive as any game could possibly be, but it has its weird little charm, and doing it all again with the freedom afforded by VR takes it to another level. Now if only cleaning my house was as simple. And that is the end of this review. Thanks for watching, it's appreciated as always. I hope you enjoyed this one and found it useful. If you did, it would be great if you could go on down below and hit the like and subscribe buttons, if you haven't already. And give the bell icon a ding so you're notified whenever we've got new stuff for you to watch. I've been Chris, you've been gorgeous, and I'll see you on the next one. Until then, cheers my dears.